Hey everybody, this is Will Jones from Stone Circle Games, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at A Duel Betwixt Us. Let's get into it. A Duel Betwixt Us is a game of zany one-on-one combat between Victorian gentlemen. As one such gentleman, you spend the game amassing an arsenal of swords, shields, and the like, and challenging your rival to single combat, hoping to win the favor of fair maidens. Helping you in your endeavors is a fan club of sturdy men who you send into the earth to mine copper, silver, and gold that you'll use to construct your arsenal of weapons. Gameplay is fairly standard for something like this. You draw events and equipment from a central deck, pay to play them in front of you, and then draw random types of duels that you then challenge your opponent to. If you're able to generate a greater amount of power than your opponent from your weapons, armor, and events that are allowable for that duel, you win, and you earn either the loyalty of some additional miners or a lady's favor. If you're able to amass all of the favor that's on the table, you win. Dueling games, or really any game that has to do with real-time combat, is always a tricky proposition, but A Duel Betwixt Us gets around that by simply not dealing too much with the combat. Really, more than anything else, it's a resource management and weapon construction game, and then the combat happens just sort of in one quick step. There are some cards you can play in the middle of combat, called tricks, that allow you to change the balance of power, but most duels you're only going to be playing 0, 1, maybe 2 of them. Most duels are just decided by what's on the table. And that's both good news and bad news. The bad news part is that it doesn't feel very thematic. Most duels aren't simply won by who has the bigger stuff. The good news is that it really streamlines the combat process so you're not just in this wild mix of act, react, 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 react forever trying to figure out timing to things in combat. And while I'm talking about theme, I should say that's actually kind of a big problem with this game. The theme is supposed to be the main attractant. Oh, aren't weird old-timey gentlemen very silly? And look, we'll slap each other with umbrellas and fish and aha, to industry! But it never quite gets there. There are just too many thematic breaks. For example, when you're building equipment, first you lay down a card that sort of has a frame of the equipment on it, and then you place metal ingots in these little slots that determine how powerful the weapon is. But right from the get-go, that makes very little sense because the metals in question are copper, silver, and gold, which are not things that you ever think of building weapons out of. You know, steel or titanium or iron. That's the sort of inconsistency that just sort of seems off, skewed somehow. This was originally a Kickstarter game, and one of their stretch goals that they managed to meet actually ends up detracting a bit from the game, and that is some of the cards are zombie miners. Like, you've got regular miners named like Ambrose and Bill and stuff like that. But then you've got zombie miners that are in every way in play completely identical to the regular miners, except the pictures on their cards are of zombies. And it's the only zombie thing that's in there, apropos of nothing. It just seems like it was this random decision tossed in there that I actually think detracts from the theme. I do like the methodology by which you choose duels. See, every duel is different, and each card has different restrictions or allowances that make it unique. But you're not just picking randomly off the top of the deck. You can sort of see a queue of what duels are going to be available in the near future, which allows you to plan a little bit better what items you want to have in your inventory. Probably the biggest weaknesses of A Duel Betwixt Us are variety and replayability. There just aren't that many different cards. There are only 15 different duels in the entire game. There are only 11 events. Now, granted, each one has multiple copies, but still, that's just not much variety to play with. So after 2, maybe 3 times through the game, you've seen what you're going to see. And there's even a problem with the types of equipment that are available to build. On the card art, even on the front of the box, there's a guy hitting somebody with a fish and an umbrella, and you've got guys just chucking random stuff at each other, but you can't actually build that in the game. At no point is there like a steampunk trout that you can build. It just doesn't exist. It's all long swords and claymores and sledgehammers and stuff like that, actual weapons. So you never really get into the bizarre equipment theme that they seem to have been trying to create. The strategy elements to A Duel Betwixt Us are actually pretty solid. There are a lot of decisions to be made on every turn in terms of what cards you want in your hand, what things you want to build, what weapons you want to devote your metal ingots to, so you can actually play the game based on your own decisions rather than just waiting on luck or purely reacting to what your opponent's done. Overall, on a scale from boring as hell to extremely amazing, I'm going to give A Duel Betwixt Us a rating of pretty cute. If you were really excited about this, chances are you already own it from the Kickstarter. But if you're looking to support some more indie games, this might be a good one for you to choose. And that's about all I've got on A Duel Betwixt Us. Thanks very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and click below to like and subscribe for more content from Stone Circle Games. And until then, have fun around the table.